Today we are talking pedal boards, mini pedal boards to be exact. I needed a pedal board for two specific scenarios. So I needed something to go in front of my amp that was simple and portable, but I also wanted to be able to take it and sit on my couch and play guitar with headphones when I needed to be quiet. And you're probably thinking I could have just bought a mini pedal board or a modeler, but I felt like something DIY was gonna fit my needs better. And this pedal board solved a couple specific problems that I have, and maybe you have too. One of those is just having any barriers to playing more gets me distracted. Going to find a power cable, some cables, hooking a bunch of stuff up, all of a sudden I am on a different task and I'm not playing guitar. And the best part, anytime I wanna play, I just flip one switch and it all comes on. I don't have to hook up a bunch of stuff. I don't even have to plug it into power because it's battery powered. The next problem is that I just wanted something small and portable. I didn't want a giant rig that I would have to carry everywhere. I wanted something I could take with one hand, sit on the couch and play, or down in the basement where I play with an amp. And then finally, it just needed to be inexpensive. If you're just starting, or like me, you're starting over playing guitar and you just want to get back into it, you don't want to go and spend a ridiculous amount of money to get started back in something that you love doing. So I'm going to take you through this whole build backwards. So we're not going to build, we're going to tear down, and then you can put the pieces together backwards to figure it out. I did make one big mistake on this build, which I will tell you when we get there. I also already have some more pedals and I'd like to get some more, so I may need a bigger board, but we'll see. I'll talk about that later. But before I do that, I'm gonna do something that I haven't done, and that's ask you to subscribe. See, this is a new channel. I'm only a couple videos in, and I'm incredibly surprised and grateful that you all have been watching. I've been kind of blown away by the amount of views that some of these videos have been getting. And while you're at it, why don't you comment on your favorite pedal or your pedal board setup? Because another thing that I've noticed is that in the comments of these videos that I'm making, you guys are having like super interesting discussions. And I'm actually learning more about equipment and history and guitars and things like that just from the conversations happening in the comments. So I'm kind of blown away. I was not expecting to find a community of people having conversations in the comments of the videos that I make. So keep it up, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. So with that out of the way, let's get to the pedal board build. And like I said, I'm gonna walk backwards and we're gonna tear it down. I am gonna start with the pedals, and obviously you can put whatever you want on there. But for me, in order to make this happen where I can plug in a set of headphones and sit on the couch, I decided to get the Veloton GP5, mainly because this thing is dirt cheap. It does a little bit of everything. It may not do it all well, but it at least does something. So I can plug into that, and I've got amp models, and then I also have a MIDI controller, the M-Wave Chocolate. So what this thing will do is turn off individually some of the effects on the patches. Or if I want, I can scroll through different patches on this. Now this is great for playing on the couch, but when I play through an amp, I don't necessarily love playing with the GP5 because I want to mess with the amp. So a lot of times I will pull it off. Or the other beautiful thing about this is you can turn the amp models off, and I can turn off effects individually that I don't have on the board on the GP5. Things I don't have, like reverbs, choruses, delays, modulations, things like that. Not the ideal solution compared to like individual pedals, but it's a solution when I'm just starting over that I can have access to anything I may be missing. The other great thing about the Veloton GP5 is that it will load NAM files and IR files. So really this pedal could be almost anything you want it to be. So that's GP5. In front of that, I have the NUX Edge delay. The GP5 does not have tap tempo. So I wanted a delay pedal that would do a dotted eighth with tap tempo. So that pedal is also on my board. Thing I love about this pedal is the tap tempo is the smart tap tempo. So you don't have to hold it for 3 seconds or anything like that. All you do, you just tap it and it knows that you're tapping the tempo. So that has my delay covered. Then I have a monoprice tube overdrive. So I had to do a lot of searching to figure out what this pedal actually was. It turns out it is a Bad Monkey clone, which is a Tube Screamer clone with a little bit different style EQ. So I'm generally playing through a Fender amp, so this pedal works well because it gives you that mid hump that gives you a little bit more presence on the amp. And then a pedal everyone should have on their board, a tuner. That seems pretty self-explanatory. It's always the first pedal that I get when I'm building something like this. Everyone needs a tuner that will mute when you push on it. So the great thing about all these pedals, they were all fairly inexpensive. They got me started. And these two, I believe, were less than 20 bucks. I'm not saying they're the best pedals ever, but again, starting over, needing something to start with, they're doing the job. Now that we have the pedals out of the way, let's do a little teardown of this board. These patch cables, inexpensive patch cables from everyone's favorite online store. I don't need to give them any more promotion than they already have. They do the job. Next up was just some inexpensive Velcro, because I can take these and rearrange these pedals, or I can, add more, whatever. So Velcro affixed to all the pedals, Velcro affixed to the top. The part that to me is what makes this work the best is let's flip this board over. And what I like is the battery powered power supply. So this is a Snail's power supply. Again, bought from a very popular online marketplace. Thing that I love about it is I can flip one switch right here and everything turns on. To keep it charged up, I just plug in a USB to the side of it and it charges with like a phone charger or whatever you have. Then the power supply connects to that MIDI controller. And we have Velcro on the MIDI controller too. I'm going to turn off the MIDI controller. And you can see a little bit more of what the base of this build is. So power supply, obviously I have Velcro on the bottom too. The reason I have Velcro on the bottom, for one, is to stick the power supply on there. For two is you can use that Velcro for cable management. So I surprisingly have not had to do a lot to keep cables neat and tidy, because I've kind of been able to tuck them under. But let's pull this off and we can see more about the base of the board. With a power supply like this, the difference between a pedal board that is good for gigging and one for home use, to me, is the perceived reliability of the board. And I think the power supply is what gives you the question of whether this board is reliable for gigging or not. You could solve that by having two power supplies and having some redundancy in case one of them goes bad, or keeping a plug-in power supply with you. I've had more than one of these. The first one my son had on his rig for over a year and we've never had a problem with it. So I bought this one for my pedal board. I'm not a serious gigger. I'm an occasionally live gig person. So I'm not usually thinking about professional, will it survive everything on the road? This pedal board is mainly for home use. Now your opinion, your mileage on that may vary. These are inexpensive enough that you could get two of them and have a spare on your board, and then you'd have some peace of mind if something went wrong. Okay, so here is the base of the board, and you can see I have my Velcro top and bottom. It lets me organize it. Now, the way I got this was just a scrap of aluminum that I had in my garage. And luckily I have access to a sheet metal brake and put those bins on it. I knew that I needed the MIDI controller to fit right here, and I just wanted it to be tall enough that this could fit on the bottom and have a little bit extra room for cables. So that's how I did that. If you don't have access to this and you want to build your own inexpensively, or you just like to do DIY stuff, you could probably do the same out of some wood or whatever material you find. Even maybe some 90-degree bend aluminum you buy at the store. Hey, interrupting myself real quick to say, unless you have the materials around or just love doing DIY projects, to not go to the store and buy raw materials, because you'll spend more than parts for an actual pedal board. A quick search will show there's some interesting, even pedal board parts that would make this project work if the size requirement was important to you. Anytime you spend building something is less time you're spending playing guitar. Your time is also worth something. It really depends. You might be getting into a cost buying materials where you might as well just bought a board. Now, I did tell you about one big mistake that I made with this board, and it was after I made it, I was thinking about having a way to carry it, like a little carrying case. If you go to Harbor Freight, they have cases there, and they have a case that is made for firearms, and this is 1/8 of an inch too big to fit in that case. So I made it a little bit too big. But luckily, what I found out that works better for me is this is small enough that you can just put it in your guitar case. So I'll put it in my case, or if I don't have enough room, I will throw it in the bass case and put my guitar in there because there's more room above the guitar to put stuff in. A little foreshadowing of what's coming up is that loud noises. Little foreshadowing what's coming up is I made a new plate that's bigger, so there's going to be a version 2 of this pedal board. And it is not big enough to fit 2 of those that way. Maybe you could fit 2 of them that way and it could have some redundancy. I have some more pedals that I want to try and I want to kind of add to my setup. Now I have a pile of materials here. That's the DIY mini pedal board.